lots of great steps there, but I think that's a good point to pick up on our next session, because our next speaker, Arpan Desai, co-founder of MobileFirst Applications, is going to. Hi, Arpan, welcome.
Hey,
So
John. Hi.
I'm looking forward to your session, because I think that a lot of people publish APIs and then they wonder, why isn't anyone using them? And because
Yes.
they're so excited. I really like this stuff. This is a great application I built. Here, go and connect to it. But you're going to help us understand a little bit about what it takes to
Yes.
actually get people to adopt and get them inspired and motivated to actually use your API.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
take it away.
So, yeah. Thank you, John. And um, I think I'm the way this session is structured is really perfect. Brajesh has created a platform. Uh, how what kind of ecosystem you require for API or API management? So that's a great platform already set for a lot of you. I'm gonna take you through a journey that how you further motivate and enable the integration experts here. So, firstly, a very brief background. I'm a co-founder of Mobile First Applications, and uh, we mainly focus on fintech APIs and SDKs and video tech APIs and SDKs. And and because we have worked with multiple APIs and SDKs, I'm uh, I'm sharing my experience. I'm sharing what we have learned from best of the best, what we can do for for all these learnings. I'm sharing with you. Um Quickly, we are a full stack and mobile development studio of 70 plus developers. So my entire aspect is how we can convert this integration experts to a customer success partners. So integration experts are not a individual developers, but can be a service provider, can be a strategic partner who is enabling your APIs, enabling your end customers to succeed, and how you as an API provider see them as a customer success partner. So I have laid out in a 4 pillars. One is onboarding, community, access and feedback, and winning together. So let's quickly jump to onboarding. So a lot of times this is a question: do we need onboarding? Uh, Onboarding of someone who is utilizing our APIs, or somebody who will be building our or integrating our API, because there is a API documentation is out there. But a lot of time API documentation do not cover API capabilities and various use cases. So this is important that you share these use cases with your probable end customers, but uh, also with your integration experts. uh, this point is second point we are taking is how do we track coverage and progress. So, and this is from a generic understanding that a lot of people who start integrating with your APIs, 70% of people drop when they are covering 20% of your APIs. Like out of 10 people, 7 people are dropping without without implementing end to end of your APIs, because they're getting stuck somewhere. They're getting, and this is where API management tool like Apigee or Mulsoft can be extremely helpful. You'll able to understand where an exact integration expert, uh, how much coverage they were able to do. As an example, you have a API suite of 30 APIs, and and I think because every API is in a cascaded API, how much coverage an individual has able to done. uh, Second is feeling of success, and this is something very important aspect. lot of amazing API providers have cracked this, that when someone is integrating with APIs, they should have, they should able to achieve that feeling of success. As an example, if I'm integrating a payment API, I should able to how quickly I should able to get that feeling of success when I'm able to transfer some funds, even on test network. There are couple of other areas where you can gamify this entire onboarding process, where if some integration expert is able to achieve, is able to cover all your certain set of APIs, you probably give them badges or something. More importantly, uh, if we change an approach of converting integration expert to an internal client, that would also change a lot of perspective. So, taking two really amazing examples of onboarding. So, this is a product called Alpaca, which is a stock trading API. What they have created is, if you're able to complete a certain use cases on test API, you'll able to get a some credit, some value credit, and this motivates integration experts to complete the entire to complete the end-to-end journey of an API. Another example I'm taking is the feeling of success. You can see I have taken an example of Plaid. So with Plaid, they have they have ensured that you can very quickly integrate or test the API, and you get that feeling of success. So in my opinion, these both are really interesting aspects. Community, I think everyone talks about community, and community is heart of success of any API platform, API offering. So how do we crack the community aspect? One is a, like, if you are a mature company, you should definitely invest in developer relationship. I have seen some really amazing companies who are investing a lot of their time, effort into developer relationship. Integration partnerships are also very critical. Second aspect is local chapters, and this is I think Polygon or Google Cloud has cracked it. And the reason they have this massive adoption is they have uh, they have created a decentralized approach of educating users about their APIs and creating that evangelism at local chapter. Uh, Second is building next line of leaders. And like, when I call about next line of leaders, for a lot of let's take Web 3.0 API. If you are into Web 3.0 API, your average developer is trying the first. They are integrating their first API with their first product. So this is, and a lot of time you can onboard people quite early on. I have an example of how you can build next line of leaders or integration expert for your API. Again, these are very common. Discord, Slack, and Stack Overflow have a mechanism where you promote or incentivize, or you give some swags or sticker to someone if, who is doing your who is supporting your community, uh, and ensuring the developers or the integration experts are very easily able to integrate your products. Here I'm taking an example of Twilio Education. I really love it what they have done. This Twilio Education is someone who is joining, or who has very recently started their developer journey. So mainly for students or early stage professionals, and that's how they are solving a problem of API education and onboarding. uh, this is another aspect, access and feedback. So there are two feedback. One is a feedback from your customer. More importantly, we have seen feedback from your integration partners or integration experts are even important. So we call it feedback, iterate, and repeat. So partner feedbacks or integration partner feedback are really important. So I'm taking an example of Agora, which is a video tech platform. So Agora when they were providing their web application or web integration product, it was only limited to JavaScript. And in probably in 4 to 5 months, they figured out that most of the people wanted in TypeScript. And this is not, their customers were mainly non-technical people. They wanted the videos to function, but all the integration partners or developers wanted that ability to code in TypeScript. Another important aspect, if you are building if you're, and I think for all the API you iterate quite often, so having a quarterly annual conference with your integration partners and developers is extremely important. Also, giving them early access, feel them privileged, and they tend to invest more time and energy with your platform. Another word I have written is celebrate the change. Oftentimes, we as an API developers or as an integration part experts, we prefer not to change things because no one loves that. Changing things, no one loves that. But once you start creating that atmosphere of celebrating that change, this can be an important, or this can be a game changer for you. uh, Here also, evangelists and champions of your product or of your API offering can contribute a lot, because they are at ground level interacting with the young developers, or they are interacting with the integration experts. uh, we're gonna take example of Basic and Plaid. Both are fintech platform. Both are account aggregator. One thing we really loved about both the platform is they are hosting their yearly or a quarterly meet for all the integration partners, and they are explaining what changes they are going to phase out in the coming years or coming months. So developers or integration experts tend to adopt that. They feel they're privileged to receive that information. And we have found that we as an integration partner got more involved, because we always felt that, hey, you know what, we are getting some privilege, we are getting that kind of a respect of an API provider. So we started creating demos, we started playing with their upcoming features quite early on. So this is a great advice or for someone who is building an API product or API offerings. Last thing, and I think I'll take more time on this, winning together. uh, so a lot of time, there's a question: do we need to incentivize? Do you need to, or do you incentivize your partners? For a lot of time, we need to. So this integration experts can be your channel partners as well. So this integration experts are mainly developers or your development agencies, but oftentimes they're consulting with a probable client. As an example, if a client comes to an integration expert, uh, and they ask them that, hey, what platform you are comfortable with, chances are that you have a good relationship with that channel partner or integration expert. They're going to utilize your platform, and ultimately it's beneficial for both of you. uh, Second is highlighting case studies of your partners or integration experts can be an extremely useful for promoting the integration experts. Creating a developer or a partner profiles and helping them with how easily they can plug and play on their website can be useful as well. And again, I think Brajesh also covered this. Revenue sharing is very important aspect for if your product is in that domain. So if your product is a B2B where your client is client is taking care of the payment, but if your product then revenue sharing is not in picture. But if your product has a paper usage, revenue sharing can be a extremely important aspect for to enable and motivate the integration partners. I'm taking two examples. One is Agora. I talked about this, and they are listing all their partners on their website. Additionally, they are promoting they are promoting their case studies. Similarly, we are checking Stripe's partner approach. Stripe has created a very straightforward approach of that. Hey, in what cases we'll able to help your our integration experts, and you can see they're very clearly and very categorically mentioning that revenue sharing is an opportunity as well. So let's quickly cover why this mindset shift is required. So because for each API, so if you are providing API in one domain, every organization, as your clients have an option to choose from multiple API provider, your integration experts also have a choice to select between multiple providers. Uh, for large scale engagement, often this service providers will have a much closer relationship with your service provider than with an API provider. And eventually, it's a great win-win for both, wherein your integration partner is also acting as your channel partner. Very important aspect is if you have an integration expert which has a proven record, you want to promote them more frequently, because if you are into fintech or any other critical industry, the best practices, code back best practices, privacy, security guidelines are very essential for your customers to win. So, very 30 second recap of what we need to do to enable your partners or your integration experts to succeed. Make Give them a feeling of success early on. Create next leaders and local chapters as frequently as possible. Always take feedback and iterate your product, and always iterate based on the feedback from clients and integration experts. Treat your integration experts as your channel partners. That's it from my end. You can reach me on Twitter and LinkedIn. Yeah. Thank you. Over to you, John.
Thanks very much, Arpan. Actually, I have some questions about that, because when we started this session, well, the title of your session, how to enable and motivate integration partners for your SDK APIs. But I think in your talk, you actually pointed out that you have to think clearly about who are the users of your API, because they can actually be a range of different people. Maybe the idea of publishing an API is so that someone else is going to add value to your core service and bring you more customers, or add value to your existing customers. And I think you pointed out that there are some integration partners, there are some channel partners. Sometimes the integration partners at the channel become channel partners because they're effectively promoting your service, and that motivating people is can be more than just hey, this is a great service, you can add to it, but perhaps you can generate more revenue for yourselves by helping your customers uh, add more value to derive more value from the service that they're getting from that integration partner or channel partner. So the ecosystem starts to look a little bit more richer than just the people who are going to create an account on your developer portal and try out your API. They are people who have a business intent, um, who may already be dealing with your target customers, even customers that you haven't identified yet.
Exactly.
So, and that I think in this sort of much more, I could call it complicated, but I prefer a term like richer environment of different participants in the ecosystem, it's useful to think about who gets value, who can add value to your service, who can derive more value from a combination of services of not just you, but the other players in the ecosystem. And if we look at some of the great ecosystem players like Salesforce, for example, that have thousands of third-party applications in their app exchange, to Shopify, which has over 3,000. Even accounting software providers like Xero have, I'm not sure whether it's 900 or 1,000 third-party applications in their environment. Is because they've been able to attract developers who are going to on-sell and augment your service with their customers, and perhaps some of your customers also, but adding extra value to that. So, do you have any other thoughts on other sort of players? You mentioned integration partners, channel partners, and actually there are probably just other people who may not have thought of you as a potential partner for your application. If you look at any company that publishes APIs, Zoom, Google Slides, Slack, they end up having a very large number of people that they connect to, because they've made it easy for other people to embed their service in a more complicated workflow.
So I'll answer your question in two parts. One is the organization considers themselves as a platform. So here, when we talk about Salesforce and Shopify, they consider themselves as a platform, not an API provider. So whereas there are companies, as an example, let's take an example of Plaid. So they consider themselves as an API first company, not as a platform for now. Eventually, these companies can be a huge platform, but their easiest and earliest use cases, how do they help the end customers? How do they help their end customers? Through the integration of their APIs. So where your core offering is integration of the, because if you look at Plaid, they do not have a standard platform. It is, or everything is an API for a lot of fintech companies or fintech API providers. So that's where integration partners can be very useful. More essentially, in some cases where you have multiple providers, let's take an example of video tech or a video infrastructure as a service. So then you got Zoom, you got Twilio, then you got Amazon, then you got Agora, you got Diet, or there are a lot of companies. So here your integration partners or integration experts can eventually be your channel partners as well, because they establish themselves they establish themselves in a leaders in that domain. So some organization will position themselves as a leader in building a solutions on video tech. So at that time, if you have a very strengthened relationship with that integration expert, you as an API provider has much to win, and ultimately everyone wins together. So those are my thoughts on platform plus service provider. Yeah, cool.
Actually, so yeah, thanks very much for sharing that insight. And I guess the last point you made is you make sure that there is a win-win-win, a win for the customer, a win
Exactly.
for you and a win for the partner as well. Because if it's not a win-win-win, then somehow it's not going to connect properly.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
yeah, okay. Well, thanks
All
very
right,
much
thank you.
for
Thank
sharing,
you.
Arpan.